Welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about the Acaia Pearl scale. This video is intended for someone who is in the market of a coffee brewing scale and wants to kind of look at all of the options and different features on offer. In particular, this scale, as you can see, a very sleek design. It's quite minimal. They don't have any raised buttons. And there's no exposed gaps in between any components. The weighing plate is actually placed on top, meaning that it does create quite a water resistant design. So if you were to spill any water onto this, it will tend to flow directly off. As far as gaps and holes, there is one gap down at the charging port and on the reverse. But that is not necessarily an issue because there is quite a lot of overhang. So typically water or any liquid will just fall off the edge there. Another thing to consider when purchasing a coffee brewing scale is what you are looking for. So if you have something that is more of a commercial type setting and you need to just weigh something real quick and make it as efficient as possible, this is perfect. It is by far one of the fastest scales that I have seen on the market, and this, when I say fastest, I actually mean its response time. So when you put a weight on it, how quickly that weight when it touches the weighing plate to actually indicates on the screen the weight, it comes up at 20 milliseconds. So for something like the Hario V60 drip scale, where that's as sensitive and weighs within 1.5 seconds, 20 milliseconds is super fast, and you'll see how touchy that looks when using, how responsive it is. Cool. So another thing to consider is what you are using it for. So with me, you've seen before, I've got the portafilter. This is a commercial 58mm portafilter. It fits very easily, so there's no issues with that. You can brew on this, meaning if you've got like a pour over sort of setup, you can easily fit most carafes. In fact, you can even fit 2 cappuccino cups on this with ease. This guy is, I would say its primary design is for brewing at home or for dosing, and maybe if you're doing like a pour over in a cafe setting or even at home, that's completely fine. Now that we've got past kind of this introduction, I'm actually going to get into more of the feature side of things, and we're going to take a deeper look at how you can use these scales. First of all, I just wanted to cover some basics. So there's 2 types of weight, and once I understood this really helped me to kind of understand how the programs worked, or the different modes. So the first kind of weight is a stable weight, meaning this has one weight of, let's say, 50 grams, and it will always be 50 grams. And when you place it onto a scale, it should detect that that is a stable weight at 50 grams or whatever it is. Then you've got something else which is more of like a, how do I say it? It's more of a variable weight. So for instance, if I'm pouring water onto a V60, that's not a fixed rate. It's always going to change. It's like a progression. That's probably the best way to think of it. So yeah, this scale kind of operates under those 2 types of weight, and yeah, you'll see that a little bit later on when we get into it. Cool. So another thing to know is that the Acaia scale actually connects to your phone via Bluetooth, which is pretty cool. Sometimes it's useful, other times it's novelty, and that's okay. It's there, and I have used it, and I personally prefer to have something a little bit more in my control, at least, or something that doesn't, what I find best and the way that I use it is when I'm displayed with just a minimal preset setting, and I can see all of the variables, so your time and your weight, and then I can determine what I play with, and that works well for me. I know when I was just starting out with pour over coffee, having those preset modes really helped to, and having a brew, I believe they call it a brew guide on their app, was really cool, because I could kind of go in there and see, okay, you know, for a V60 it's kind of this, and then, you know, it tracks your brew while you were brewing. So yeah, you might find that useful, but later on I tend not to use that. Another real quick thing that I just wanted to cover was this scale is kind of like an iPhone in the sense where you buy the hardware once and then you can upgrade it, and a software will come out and you go, there's an app that you can easily log into and you can update it that way if you want to. You don't have to, but yeah, depending on how you use it, that might be of benefit to you and something to check out. I have updated these from, I believe it was the A mode to a B mode. I'm not entirely sure. That was kind of done maybe a couple months back. You kind of update it, forget about it, and then you might hear that there's a new update coming out, and you can go and see whether that's worth it for you. So like we talked about before, there's no buttons on the display, it's just touch. Cool. Now, the first thing is you've got your power. This also helps you to cycle through your modes. Then you've also got your tare. So super intuitive, very simple. You can start your timer by pressing that once. You can stop it again by pressing it, and to reset it again, you press it. Cool. So this is my go-to mode. It's probably one of the most simple, and it is, yeah, it's pretty cool because you've got your time and you've got your weight. And when you're brewing coffee, those are the two main things that you need to show. Awesome. So now I'm going to go into I'm going to show you how to cycle through the modes. So you can just simply press and hold. So yeah, what this does is it will weigh when you have your variables. It will detect that stable weight, and then it'll move on to the next one. For instance, if we go start, cup, and then it moves on to the next. Cool. All right. This is also really cool if you're filling up bags of beans. So you can kind of have your 250 gram pouch or whatever you're using it for, put in your beans, and you can detect the weight that way. Awesome. Now this is I don't really use any other mode besides the very first one that I showed you with the time and the weight. This one is actually really cool because this allows you to weigh over, I believe, 1 kilo. So the first option that I showed you only weighs up to 1 kilogram. I believe it might be, yeah, I think it's 1,000 grams. This one actually allows you to go all the way up to 2,000. Awesome. So if you have anything that you needed to weigh that was above a 1,000 gram mark, you can use this setting, and that will allow you to exceed that 1 kilo. Awesome. So that's pretty much it. So in the box, you've got the Acaia scale itself, you've got the charging cable, and you've got this mat. Okay, so if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to drop a comment down below, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. Thanks so much for watching again, and we'll see you next video.